This is show 63 of the Cloth Diaper Podcast. Today I am joined with Liz, one of the co-founders of Esembly Baby Diapers. This show is coming out almost exactly a year since their launch, so that's kind of special and kind of cool. Welcome back to the Cloth Diaper Podcast, the somewhat regular show dedicated to everything cloth diapering. I'm so excited for today's show. It was such a fantastic opportunity to have this incredible marketer on the show and sharing her story about launching a cloth diaper brand. But before we get into Liz's story and talking with Liz about Esembly Baby, let me just introduce myself. My name is Bailey. I'm the host of the Cloth Diaper Podcast, and I live in northern British Columbia. I have been running this podcast for almost 3 years now, and I just absolutely love connecting with brands and parents and sharing their stories one-on-one like this. I think it's such a fabulous way to get the story, to talk to people, and to really grow and connect the cloth diaper space. There's so much we don't know about brands until we sit down with them and chat with them. So one last thing before we get into the show and the recording, I did record this show back in November, so things may have changed for Esembly Baby. They may have not. But I also want to make sure that you're subscribing. So wherever you listen to your podcast, whether that's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you always get a notification. If you're still not getting those notifications, slide over to www.clothdiaperpodcast.com. You'll always find all the show notes, quizzes, and lots of other fun activity there where you can then also sign up for my newsletter. If you also go through the Cloth Diaper, I feel like this is like an ongoing ad, but I have so many great, amazing resources that I want you to check out and make sure that you can know. So clothdiaperpodcast.com, I've got a quiz about how to find the right kind of diaper for you. I have all of the best of 2020 lists for pockets, fitteds, covers, all-in-ones, and I have show notes from every episode, including this one. If you go to clothdiaperpodcast.shop, that's where you can support the Cloth Diaper Podcast. Supporting the Cloth Diaper Podcast is one great way that you can continue to ensure that this show runs. It's pretty indie, out of my home office type of show, but it takes a lot of time. And your support through purchasing merchandise and other fun, I don't know what else I have in the shop by now, bags. Maybe I have my mantra cards, my coloring books. All of these little things, they help make a difference in ensuring that the bills get paid, the podcast servers get paid, and that I feel like I can continue to do this work and give back to the cloth diaper community. It's such a pleasure to work with and continue to support cloth diapering. I'm so excited for today's story, to chat with Liz. I definitely feel a little starstruck. Actually, every time I talk to a cloth diaper brand, I feel a little bit like I am in a star spotlight because they are such incredible entrepreneurs that I am completely in envy of. But let me stop rambling and let's get on with the show. All right. So I am joined today with Liz from Esembly. How are we pronouncing your name?
It's Liz Turrigiano with Esembly.
Esembly. Okay. So too much of my Canadian soft accent on there, not Esembly.
Yeah, totally. So Esembly is, new to the market, but we as founders are not new to this space. In fact, we have quite an extensive history with it. So long story short, I left my advertising job in 2009 to launch a cloth diaper service in New York City with a fellow producer. My first baby was 4 weeks old. And in hindsight, I have absolutely no idea what I was thinking. But being a born and raised New Yorker, I had a passion for the community and the environment and the idea that I could, work with a friend to create a business that served both was just too good to be true. So in my, postpartum haze, I did it. And together we created Diaper Kind. And over the course of 11 years, that company has serviced thousands of families, taught hundreds of cloth diapering 101 workshops, and washed literally millions of diapers. And it was really from that experience that Esembly was born, along with another baby that I had, but that's a whole different story.
That explains a lot as I look at your incredible website and just the marketing behind Esembly. If you were advertising before.
Yes.
I was going to ask, that was like one of my low key questions was, where did you get this amazing marketing plan? And that's your skill set and your...
For sure.
Oh yeah. Okay. You do a fabulous job. Such an envy of watching you advertise this company, because I always see cloth diapering as being so collaborative. And as you put out all this beautiful content and work with people, I'm just like, this is doing so much for your brand, but for the entire space.
Oh, I love hearing that.
And
Thank you.
I just think so many people come across, I'm starting to hear more and more people, oh, I saw an ad for this brand Esembly somewhere on the internet, and I was curious about cloth diapering. So you're making such a huge impact, probably in ways you don't even know, and just being an incredible advertiser.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That means everything.
It's a little thing I've been hearing. I've been picking up as somebody in this space. So you start Esembly is what, just this year, hey? 2020?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I mean, why did we start Esembly?
Why did you pivot from Diaper Kind to Esembly?
Sometimes I don't know,
That's fine.
but no. I mean, it's a great question, and I'll be honest in telling you that I have two partners, Sarah and Marta, and all three of us would say that creating a full product line was never in our plan. We sort of stumbled into it. New York City is such a transient place, especially when it comes to people with young kids. So we found ourselves over the years doing so much consulting with Diaper Kind families who were moving out to other states or the burbs, or who wanted advice on how to home launder. And we started to become inspired by it. So here we were with all this knowledge in diaper design, laundry science, and really had sort of an insider view into what the wants and needs of modern parents in terms of cloth diapering were. And we felt like we could use all of this acquired expertise that we had gained through the service to to create a complete system to make these parents' transitions from service to self super easy and even fun. And I'm sure you've heard this, but so many new parents are overwhelmed and intimidated by cloth diapering, and laundry is most often their biggest hang up.
Oh, yeah.
And and what we tell them is that at Diaper Kind, we wash 18 to 20,000 diapers a week. If it were hard, we'd be long out of business. We're not superheroes. It's just laundry. And
so is Diaper Kind still in business then? Yes.
It is. Diaper Kind continues to grow and thrive. And so it's we're not working magic there. It's just laundry, and you just need the right tools, the right instruction, and someone willing to offer you some assistance if you run into any issues. And that's what we set out to give them with Esembly. And
awesome.
So we wanted to provide all the products, the education, and the support under one brand. So they didn't have to go digging around to all these different places. And I mean, do you want to hear something cool? Is when we were preparing to launch Esembly and needed to raise some money, we created a crowdfunding equity campaign and put the opportunity out there to our Diaper Kind families, so past and present. And so many of them invested and are now partners in Esembly, which I know. I mean, for us, it's just pure magic.
Yeah. And to have that community support is just such an empowering feeling, I can imagine.
Yeah. It's been really fun. They believed in us. They believed in the idea for Esembly, and they've just been, everything from early prototype testing to investing to seeing us through to the launch. It's been quite awesome.
Well, this is sounds like a fun, incredible journey. And we were chatting before about your product, and you had mentioned fitteds with Diaper Kind, and then that Esembly is more of we talked about pre-folds with Diaper Kind, and that Esembly is more of a fitted diaper. So why did you make that transition and decide that you're going to offer this fitted cover system for your Esembly over a pre-fold, which maybe you've been using before with Diaper Kind?
Yeah, it was creating Esembly was a whole evolution. We wanted to be a brand. The way we wanted to differentiate ourselves from others is by creating a complete system. So we offer the organic diapers, the cloth-friendly skincare, the recycled storage bags, the detergent.
The whole product, yeah.
Right. So that was our one way to be how can we serve this community in a different way than what's currently being done? And then for the diapers themselves, that was another, R&D experiment. And when we were in the early stages of product research and development, we really leaned heavily on those Diaper Kind families. I had just had a baby, and my second, and I would make prototypes and test formulations while he napped. And then I would send
a working mother. Yeah.
Totally. And then I would send these really rough kitchen table samples out to Diaper Kind families for them to try and report back. And at the same time, we were surveying the hell out of these poor families. And what we repeatedly kept hearing was that the three most important qualities of a diaper were trim fit, leak proof, and easy to wash. And those became our design pillars. And what we ended up with is a 2-size two-piece diaper. Two sizes from birth through potty training as opposed to one makes the diaper very trim and form-fitting, which we knew families wanted. And then two pieces as opposed to one meant that you were securing two different layers around the baby independently of one another, which makes it blowout proof. So as I'm sure you know, newborn and baby poop is incredibly forceful and very sneaky, and it wants to find a way out. Yes. So hence all of the leaking with disposables. So the way our diaper works is if any mess is to escape the inner or the cotton layer, it's going to get caught by the outer. And then the last component is washability. So we chose highly washable and super absorbent organic cotton, and our outers and our storage bags are all made from recycled plastic bottles. So that fabric is really sustainable and also super stretchy and soft.
So I have a lot of questions here, but about the plastic bottle, because you're not the only brand on the market right now doing plastic bottles, fabric, but you're the first one I've had on the show. So I want to what is this? Like, how do they do that? What are they doing? They melting down the plastic bottles and then making a yarn. Does it feel soft? How does it feel? Does it still feel like PUL?
Yes, but there's so many different ways to make PUL and TPU, and it's so much of it is in, the first step is you're making a fabric that has nothing to do with the lamination layer. You're just making a woven fabric. So for us, we worked with our team to design a fabric that was almost like spandex. Like we wanted it to be really soft and really stretchy because we wanted that outer to fit over the inner, almost like worn in yoga pants.
So like if it's plastic yarn, does that mean is there a laminate on it, or is the whole fabric?
After you weave the fabric, like you're basically just making polyester. So after you weave the fabric, so now we have this soft, stretchy spandex, then it gets cold bond pressed to a thin layer of laminate. And that's what gives it that waterproof.
Awesome. I was not entirely, half of my brain thought maybe the entire fabric was unique and laminated. So
that would be amazing.
That helps clarify that up. That would be amazing. It would be really cool fabric. Okay, so it's like when I think about other brands that have like stretchy, soft TPU, it's very similar to that experience that I might be thinking about. Okay, awesome. I also wanted to really say, like, I know a lot of people listening, a two-size system kind of can be a bit of a turnoff to a new parent.
Yep. I know.
As like a parent who has had two different size children, a two-size system is like incredible. It is such a great choice for being able to cloth diaper the whole range.
Absolutely. And I think it just comes down to that form fit, and I have a background in technical design, and if you stop and think, like, a diaper is meant to fit like a bra or a bathing suit. So now imagine trying to design a really well-fitting bra or bathing suit to fit, a 7-year-old and a 17-year-old. Like, you couldn't. And that's kind of where, if do one-size diapers work? Sure. There's many brands that have successful, beautiful one-size diapers. But for us, when we were really looking for that form-fitting, leak-proof aspect, the two-size diaper just made the most sense. And I think, like you said, you've got two different babies, two different sizes. You save them, you pass them down. All of our diapers are made to last. So, you move out of size 1, you set them aside, or you pass them over to a friend or a cousin, and you move into size 2. I think it's a compromise worth making. Yeah,
it gives a really great fit, especially when we're talking about fitted diapers, which can get so bulky when they get into that one size. They just give less than ideal fit on the smaller children, and then even a struggle on the larger children. So if a listener was listening and they had this 15-pound child who's 5 months old, what would you recommend?
We get that question a lot. We often say to go right into size 2. If they're 15 pounds or over, just it's not worth the investment to make, even though the size 1 is the right size and will give that trim or fit. I think for the, to get the most bang for your buck, go right into size 2. It'll be a matter of a few weeks before the baby's filling it out. And in the meantime, you'll just have a poofier booty. It doesn't mean the diaper won't function.
Is the size 2 kind of like a larger one size, and that it has a lot of variability for just that babyhood to toddler?
It really, we find that most families move into, it starts to fit at about 18 pounds. So for my kids that were teeny, teeny, tiny, they were both, I think my daughter was exactly a year and my son was like 14 months before he fit into the size 2.
I'm like, okay, so my babies were like 18 pounds at like about 4 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we find,
all sorts of changes and ages. Yep.
So we get that question all the time, but how many months? How long? I'm like, it ranges. You really just don't know. But, the good thing is that no matter what, we have yet to have a single baby outgrow size 2s before potty training. So it's like, you kind of know that no matter what variance there's going to be and when you size out of one and into the other, you're still going to only need 2 from birth through potty training.
Like I find that 35 pounds, we throw that number on there, but like often a 40-pound child and a 35-pound child, they're very structurally the same, and the product is going to still very similar. It's just kind of a weird way we measure things.
And I'm so glad you brought that up, because like you having 2 really big babies, we have some families that are sizing out of size 1s, like 4 to 6 months, and they're like, well, what are we going to do? This baby's never going to last in size 2s. And what we say is like, A, eventually their growth slows down. And B, even when they do continue to grow, they don't gain all that weight in their crotch. Like they get longer arms, they get bigger heads, they develop muscle. Like it's not all happening like between their kneecaps and their belly button. Like, so that
such
area.
An obvious conversation, but we forget it though. As a mom, 4 months, 2 a.m. in the morning, I can remember having the panic attack about, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to diaper my child because they're going to be massive. But he slowed down. Sure, he was 40 pounds when he stopped, but I never had to buy size 3 diapers. And he potty trained at 3.5. So yeah, pretty normal. They do adjust. And you were mentioning the fun fact about your fitted diaper that makes it easy to wash, easy to dry. Are these channels? So you've sewn in an extra layer of explain what you explained to me. You did a way better job.
So at Diaper Kind, most families used pre-folds. And then I believe in like maybe 2014, we introduced a fitted option for the families that were like, I would teach the 101 class and I would bust out that cotton rectangle and you would just see their eyes glaze over. Oh, no. And they were like, nope, no way. So we worked with our factory to make a fitted, and because it was for a service where we're providing families with 160 diapers, it had to be very utilitarian. Like there was nothing fancy about this fitted diaper. It was just 12 to 14 layers of thick pad of cotton with elastic at the legs and a contour shape. And so families loved them and we loved them, but we were washing them in industrial machines with piping hot water. And as we started to think about Esembly, we knew we wanted to use that contour shape because it was more intuitive and easier to approach. But we needed to find a way to make it more washable in the home machine where know that, you're not getting the mechanical action and the hot water to really get deep down into cleaning the core. So we worked with a technical designer, this amazing woman named Patty, and she helped us figure out how do we construct this diaper. So again, it fits well, it wears well, and it also is highly washable. So if you look at our fitted, when you open up the body of the diaper on the inside, there's this like we call it a butterfly insert, but it's 2 different pads that are tacked together, and then they're tacked to the body of the diaper in 5 different spots. So you can actually go and like stick your hand through and reach the other side. So what that does is the butterfly wings of the insert sort of flap around in the wash and you can get through to the inner layer. So it allows the detergent and the water and then the air and the dryer to reach different parts of the inner through the wash and dry cycle. And it makes them wash up better and dry more efficiently.
This like kind of cloth diaper innovation is the whole reason that I still continue podcasting even long after potty training. It's like listening to you explain this. It's just like, this is magic. This is beautiful. It's beautiful to see something that parents struggle with, like, and a new spin on it. Parents struggle with the dense layers of a fitted diaper and washing them. And this sounds like you figured out kind of a way that might work for some parents to really come across that drying, washing debacle.
Yes. But to be honest, we really stayed as true to the classic as possible. Like
It looks super classic here on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because classic works. For 11, 12 years of running the service, people love basic pre-folds and basic fitteds because they wash well, they hold up, they just function. And it's like, so for us, it was like, well, if it's not broke, why are we going to go out on a limb to like redesign and patent something when like ultimately we have something that's working? We just need to fine tune it a little so it works better.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you haven't done anything crazy really, but you've done something a little different that overcomes a little bit of the challenges that I've heard about with fitted diapers. That's kind of like cool. And also when I'm looking at it, I'm listening to you talk about it. I'm like, why haven't we thought about this before? Like, oh yeah, this is obvious. Yeah. Okay. So washing. The other thing I've heard is that you have an incredible detergent product that you have created that works amazing. That's from your Diaper Kind days. You used the word clean rinsing on your website. And what does that mean? And why is clean rinsing important for parents?
Yeah, so clean rinsing is very important when it comes to diaper detergent. What clean rinsing means is that it's free of any ingredient that lives on the fabric after that final rinse. So some of the most popular of those ingredients are fragrance, fabric softener, and optical brighteners. Those are 3 commonly added ingredients to a mainstream commercial detergent, and they're fabulous for washing regular clothes. But for diapers, they're problematic because there are these molecules that bind to the fabric, they stay on the surface, and then what they do is they give the ammonia and bacteria in the pee and the poop something to hold on to, making it harder and harder to wash out in future washes. And it's what leads to, in the industry, there's so many terms of like residue, buildup, needing to strip, but really what it comes down to is the ammonia and the bacteria are holding on to dear life, for dear life to these molecules that are attached to the fabric that you're putting on there in your detergent. So we worked with, so at Diaper Kind in 2009, when we launched, we did not want to go with like a big chemical company. So we hired a small company in Massachusetts that worked with us to specially formulate our detergent and to construct our wash cycles.
That's an entire industry I didn't even know existed until this year. I chatted with Dinobi detergents in the summer, and she was also talking to me about finding the chemist and working with somebody. I was like, who I didn't even know. But yeah, specialists. When people are making detergents, it's not just an advertiser in your New York condo. It's literally we're reaching out to specialists.
Yeah. So we hired a PhD in biochemical engineering, and we also brought in an enzymologist because everyone was telling us, oh, you need enzymes to wash cloth diapers. And so we worked with them to put together our Diaper Kind wash routine. And then once we locked it in like mid 2010, it has remained unchanged since then. So for 10 years, it's been exactly the same. And so when we decided we wanted to create a diaper detergent for Esembly, we approached that same chemist. And I said, hey, Mark, how do we take everything that we did at Diaper Kind and just put it into a bag or a bottle for people to do at home? And he laughed and he's like, that's insane. You can't.
Darn. I was thinking, maybe it's probably really easy. Just keep it simple.
Yes, that's what I thought too. He like kind of brushed me off, and like a week later I called him back. I was like, no, we're serious. We really want to do this. And he's like, all right. And so we worked with him over the course of 2 years and brought in other people to assist on the project because it really was challenging.
Oh, wow. Really? Okay. Really, I mean, I don't know anything about detergent. I should assume it's challenging, but
it's the right blend of, we made it more challenging by saying that we wanted it to be this natural mineral-based product. Had we just approached him and said, we don't care what you put in here and make sure it cleans diapers, he would have been like, fantastic, here's your formula. But we had all these parameters on what ingredients we would and would not use and how we wanted the wash cycle to be structured. And so it did. It took us about 2 years of lots of experimenting. And I had my son at the time in diapers, and this kid, I mean, gosh, maybe there's some therapy or lawsuit in my future, but he suffered from a lot of diaper rash because of different products that we were testing on him.
So we know it's tried and tested on your own kin.
Yes, perfectly. I was also testing the skincare formulations at the same time, so he had a lot of rash cream. Yeah, but we ended up landing on a mineral-based detergent that it power cleans the diapers through high alkalinity and a specific blend of anionic and ionic surfactants, which really reach and tackle baby poop, this is gross to talk about, but it's made up of a lot of different things. You have high fat content from the baby's diet, as well as, the greases and creams that you're putting on the skin. You have lots of starch, you have heavy discoloration, and a high bacterial content. So there's a lot going on in that diaper, and you really need to sort of attack it from a number of different ways. And so that's our washing powder. We started selling it through Diaper Kind in 2017. So we've been selling it for 3 to 4 years. And yes, only recently launched it with Esembly this year.
Okay. So is it septic safe? Could a family use it if they were off grid?
Yes.
Because I've seen these words, biodegradable. But you're saying mineral based. So it's probably right back into the rivers, kind of okay.
Yep. Exactly right.
Awesome. That's so cool. And so I'm also seeing that you've got a package. How many loads of laundry do you get average out of one of these little packages?
Yes. So one bag of washing powder will last a family that's exclusively washing diapers with it, following our instructions, 8 weeks. Mm-hmm. So you get about 2 months out of a bag.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's not bad. I do a little math here in my head. Yeah. That's a good value. Now that I'm thinking, especially for a product that is mineral based, that's not mainstream synthetic. Yep. Yeah. Cool. This is why I've heard a lot of hype about it. All right. I mean, it's always interesting to hear what goes into a detergent. You have put a lot of time and energy into this whole brand. Hey.
We did. And it's, again, we were so fortunate to have the service because it enabled us to take it slow. I mean, my son was born in 2013, at the very end of 2013. And we started while I was on maternity leave with him developing the product. So it took us 7 years to get it to be ready to launch. And so much of that was the, branding that you see on our website and things, but we took it slow. We were not in a hurry. We knew what we wanted to achieve, and we knew how, we knew exactly what we wanted each product to do. And we took our time getting there.
Okay. What do you love most about being in the cloth diaper industry, continuing to be in this business?
I am and always have been insanely passionate about sustainability. So that right there is the obvious. But I think beyond that, I really, really love working with new and expecting parents. It's such a fun time in people's lives. It's overwhelming, it's scary, but nothing brings me more joy than helping problem solve and simplify things for someone who is living through one of the most transformative times in their life. And I've seen time and time again with new families that cloth diapering is aspirational. Pregnant parents approach it with excitement and hope and pride. And if I just feel like if I can be part of helping them achieve that goal, really there is nothing better. And I guess also, if I'm being honest, I'm a designer who loves textiles. So the cloth diaper business definitely scratches that itch.
You sound like a pretty multi-passionate person. They all kind of blend together. I can see why you are where you are. They all, it's such a cool thing to see, and to see this kind of play out. And you guys have been what is the word I'm looking for? Crushing it in some ways, in that I heard that you're coming into Indigo in Canada and you Target in the United States, and just some really what feel like to me big goals. Do they feel like big goals to you?
They do.
How are you feeling about where you're going with that?
It feels crazy. I mean, and when I think about short term and long term, short term is just get through this wild year.
Pandemic, 2020, launching a brand, all those things.
I mean, we officially launched in March, literally a couple of weeks before New York City shut down. And
hey?
And it's been a ride. It's been amazing, don't get me wrong, but intense. We unexpectedly got a bunch of press from the Today Show and Forbes, right after the shutdown. So I am in a small city living quarters with a husband who's a sound designer who's working from home. and 2 kids. And like literally someone was like, Forbes wants to interview you. And I did the interview with Forbes in my bathroom because it's the only door in our apartment with a lock on it. And so I'm sitting there and like, I just knew my kids were going to be like clawing at the other side of the door. And I'm like, please, this is so important. So short-term goal is just getting through this year. And then stepping back and taking a breath and looking at everything that we learned along the way and figuring out how to turn it into a killer 2021. But as you said, things have been going pretty bananas for us. Indigo approached us 3 or 4 months ago and said, we love what you're doing. We'd like to carry it. And we've had such a positive response from families in Canada to the brand, but the cost of shipping.
I'm blown away
crazy.
that Indigo is going to carry cloth diapers. Like that
in
itself is because I'm Canadian, so I can I'm just like, that's nuts. I just I can't imagine it.
And they approached us. It was amazing.
Wow. Yeah, man, you've just stirred up like the right press, and it's amazing. It's beautiful. I can see. I'm like totally just in awe of this amazing work then that you've done.
Oh, thanks.
And Canadian shipping.
Oh, it's outrageous. So Indigo is really going to help us with that because then we can just have our Canadian customers order through them.
The best part about Indigo is shipping policy.
Totally.
So excited about that.
Yeah.
Because I often host giveaways on my channel, and a lot of times it's cheaper for me to ship things internationally than to have a Canadian win it. So
oh my gosh.
It's crazy here. Just a fun wild ride. It happens when you're only 32 million people in a country larger than the United States. It's so cool to listen to you tell your story, Liz, about your cloth diaper brand from Diaper Kind to Esembly. It's just so cool. I am so excited. I'm so excited to see you come up on Indigo, and then I'm going to have to... Where can people find you? They can buy you, I guess.
Well, no. So Indigo officially went live, I think, 2 weeks ago. So we are up on
really
Indigo.
On there?
Yeah. There's an Esembly page on Indigo. And but mainly customers reach us through our website, assemblybaby.com. And we have some cool tools on there, knowing that when parents are first sort of exploring this option, they really don't know how many of each product they need, which products exactly they need. So we worked with our web developer to create what we call the Assemble Your System portal. So a family can log in and just answer a few questions that we ask, and then it walks them through each of the product categories from diapering to skincare to storage to laundry, and makes recommendations of product size and quantity based on the answers to their questions. So it really helps them custom, like a personal shopper, helping them figure out exactly the items that they need. Yes. So any of the replenishables, like the washing powder, the skincare, you can sign up for a subscription for that.
Okay. Cool. So Esembly with one S, assemblybaby.com. Well, thank you so much for taking the time today to chat with me, Liz. Did you have anything else you wanted to share with listeners? Otherwise, I'm about done all my questions and insights into your life.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I have been following your podcast, and we have so many families that are like, I can't believe you're going to be on that podcast. So it's really an honor.
I feel really star-stricken to have you on the show. So it goes both ways. So my biggest takeaway from today's conversation that I want you to really think about as a member of the cloth diaper community is Liz talked about the 2-year process to design their cloth diaper detergent. So often groups of people will brush off cloth diaper detergents because they just assume that cloth diaper brands don't know anything. But as we know from this conversation with Liz from Esembly Baby, they have been in the diaper industry for a long time. They've been using detergents, working with detergent specialists to create a product that works. This isn't just a let's create a product thing. And I don't think any brand goes into that thinking, let's just create a detergent. As we've learned with our conversation with Dinobi detergent this summer, or last summer, and now with Liz, creating a detergent is a project. It's something that brands go into, and they spend a lot of money in research and development to ensure that it works and it works for you. So I hope that you enjoyed this show. I did go to Indigo Canada. I did order an Esembly Baby kit, and I did do an unboxing on my YouTube. I'm hoping by the time that this review comes, or this podcast comes out, I'll have done a full written review over at simplymombailey.com. and you can check out the product more in detail with photos and images and a few of my thoughts. I am really hoping to find a baby to try it on. Worst case scenario, I'm going to just send it to Anna at Nerdy Mamas, and we'll get her insight and input on this product. Thank you so much for joining me. If you ever want to be on the Cloth Diaper Podcast or you have a story to share, feel free to reach out to me at clothdiaperpodcast@gmail.com.